The following broadcast is intended for mature audiences. These are real people sharing very real, deeply personal experiences. This content may be considered triggering for others and for those who are sharing. The chat room is a privilege intended for discussions and sharing. You are not being asked to agree, but you are being asked to stay civil and refrain from personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, welcome back to Am I Mental? A live podcast where we share stories about how life impacts mental health and mental health impacts life. I'm your host, E. With us tonight is co-host C.
Hello.
And Os, we were having some audio issues. He's jumped off. He's going to try to get them fixed. He looks like he's coming back in now. But congratulations to us. 100th episode. If you don't count episode 0, so the bonus episode at the end of season 1. But still, this is our official 100th episode. Changes are coming. I don't know that Jay's going to be able to stick with us. Her business is really starting to take off, and she's been busy with other things. And that's fair, you know. What would I say? No, this can't happen. You need to give up your job and work for us, even though there's no pay involved. No, of course not. You got to take care of you. You got to take care of your family. You know, I get it. You know, we've had some turnover on the show, and I expect that to continue. It's just the nature of the business. That said, Os is back, and so what happened is that we had a guest lined up, but the guest had to cancel. Because I'm really not going to go into details on the air about what their issues are. It's their story really to tell. The co-hosts are aware and Os is aware. I gave them the details because, Os is starting to step up a little bit to be a little bit more involved. And I really, 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 really appreciate it. Like, I can't put into words how much I appreciate it.
I'm just trying to be like you when I grow up.
That's a mistake. But needless to say, what wound up happening is I was like, hey, let's do an episode about cognitive distortions. Because it's basically what a cognitive distortion is, more than anything, is like how you perceive the world around you, the interaction with people, and basically reality itself, but it's coming across distorted. So you're not perceiving things as they are. And if you don't perceive things as they are, things aren't going to work out as you would hope or expect or plan. And that can absolutely cause some, blowback against your own mental health. Because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it causes confusion because you're looking at things through a lens that the normative, I put in air quotes, people won't be seeing it that way. So you might run into some friction and some hardships there.
Right. So I was like, hey, I'm going to send this to the co-host and say, here's a list of 22. Let's all pick one or two, study up on them a little bit, and we'll discuss it. And we'll talk about, what the distortion is and how it's impacted our own lives. And then, have a little powwow about it. Well, I accidentally sent it to Os. And Os is like, what's this? This is amazing. So I was like,
right.
Hey, why don't you join us today if you want, if you find time? Here he is.
Yeah, went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, when I first learned about it, it is a hell of a rabbit hole. So, yeah. Richard just said Cognitive Distortion sounds like a college alternative rock band. It really does.
I would not be surprised if you look that up. You pop back with some home VHS shot videos.
Or it's a Social Distortion cover band. It could be that, too.
That works, too. Yep. I have to break up my Social D shirt.
Nice. So, Austin, you're the guest. Do you want to go ahead and pick out the first one?
So, the top of the list, the first thing that struck out to me...
you know what? I'm going to quickly throw the list into the chat.
Yeah, Ian and I were talking earlier, and as I was going through the list, I was going through them and trying to apply them to myself at first and running into issues. But and then looking at where I've seen them in the wild. But the first thing on the list did kind of resonate with me a little bit. And that's the all or nothing thinking, the polarized thinking.
I
Right.
like to
So
call
it's
it living in a false binary.
oh, there you go. Hey, that's super solid. You
Black
know.
and white thinking.
Yeah, and I am my problem. I've had problems with that, where it's something that I've worked on for years. Because when you get that black and white thinking, one of the things, I mean, you can really get down on yourself. Either you're a failure or you're winning. There's no gray area. Um, but in and that is like big picture. But if you get to specific topics and black and white thinking, one of the things that I've run into problems with is it turns into righteous indignation. I know I'm right. I know what I think is right is law, and there's nothing that can make me turn away from that thinking, and that can even get me to climb up on a pedestal a little bit, which does not make me a great person, in that moment. And
like if you've ever been accused of being on a high horse, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Several times. I'm so thankful for Sarah, my partner, because she's had plenty of reasons to just like prison style shank me over some of the things that have come out of my mouth.
Oh no!
And she's gotten really good at rolling her eyes at me. So,
which we need to get her on the show. I know that she's got some good stuff to share.
I was talking to her about it earlier. And she's like, "Yeah, I'd be down for that." So
nice.
I got a couple people lined up for you. We'll talk about it offline.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to take 3 weeks off after this.
Yep.
Just it lines up. I was thinking 2 weeks, but I was like looking at the calendar and planning out the next couple of seasons, and 3 weeks actually lines up a little bit better with the seasons. And no major holiday other than, of course, Thanksgiving lands on a Thursday this year. So it's like, okay, if we have to plow through the Christmas time, we can. Don't like it, but we can.
Yeah, there we go. That works. Hey, we got Bexy in chat. What's up, Bexy?
Hello, Bexy.
Hey, Trader. I mean, Bexy.
No.
But yeah, like I've also, like you were saying, I apply, for me, the black and white or polarized thinking to myself more than I will to anybody else. Like you said, success or failure, no in between. So then I look at the net. What's the net in my perspective at that moment? If the net is negative, well, then I'm a failure.
Yeah. Looking at it, like you can get, it can have that black and white thinking can have a definite cascading effect. So when I was powerlifting, well, I guess I'm powerlifting again, but say my goal is I'm going for a PR lift of like 585 pounds. And I only get up 560. I can't get that last 15 pounds on there. Beating myself up. I didn't meet that goal. I'm a failure. Totally oblivious to not knowing another single human being personally that can lift that amount of weight, right? But because I didn't get that last 15 pounds, I'm beating myself up. It's like, if you look at it, like you pull back and you think about it, like it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, you're still lifting an incredible amount.
Yeah, but to me, it wasn't the goal. It doesn't matter if I walked 20 miles of a marathon. If I didn't get that last bit, I still failed it. Like, well, I got to that 20-mile point. And that's really what we need to be able to do, to pull back and look at and celebrate the distance we have traveled. But it's really hard in that moment, right? And that's where that black and white thinking comes in.
And that's actually, like, in my professional life, one of the things that I always do is I aim for the stars. And I've always had managers come up and get concerned, going, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And I went, no, I'm not. I'm aiming for the stars. Yet if I land on the moon instead, I still have an amazing view and have accomplished more than most people will ever in their life.
Yeah, winning, right? It's tiger's blood right there. Get me on the moon. Had to bring it back.
Oh, man. Charlie Sheen. But Richard just said plowing through Christmas time is Cognitive Distortion's first Christmas album.
You know what? I know a guy who might be able to put together some tracks for that album.
That
I
would
just
be
know
awesome.
a guy. Just confused.
Bexy called me a lint licker because I called her a traitor.
Yeah.
I miss the Orbit commercials. Those were the best. Like the most polite, rude people on the planet.
Oh
Yeah.
man, one of my favorites was just really fast, and then we'll bring it back. There was I can't remember the name of the company anymore, but they don't exist anymore. But their Super Bowl a few years back, they had a bunch of commercials about misunderstandings, like guys prepping a dinner, like an Italian dinner for his wife. You can tell, he's simmering the sauce. It's all red sauce and all that. And he's getting all this stuff done. And the cat comes walking along, steps on the saucepan's handle, causes the saucepan to spill. The cat falls to the ground. The cat's white, lands belly first in red sauce. He picks up the cat with one hand, has a huge-ass knife in the other hand, and his wife walks through the door at that moment.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, another one was there was a guy who was struggling to get his seatbelt on a plane when there was turbulence, and it was at night. The lights flashed out while a stewardess was trying to help, and as soon as the lights came back on stable again, she was straddling him. Her hair was out of place. Her clothes were disheveled. Yeah.
One more favorite commercial. We'll get back to the topics. My all-time favorite commercial makes me giggle every time I see it. And it is the Black & Decker commercial, and it shows a white Persian cat. And the narrator says, "Do you have a problem with your pet shedding?" And the Persian cat sneezes, and it's replaced by a bald cat. And there's cat fur everywhere. The new Black & Decker,
poor
it starts vacuuming it. But I was like, that's every cat I've had. And I'm allergic. I don't know why I keep getting them. They keep finding me. I'm like the biggest, baldest Disney princess ever. Animals just because I live out in the country now. If I could sing, man, let me tell you, I have deer. I'll be sitting on my porch vaping, and I'll get spooked more than the deer will get spooked. It walking 5 or 6 feet up to me. I'm just I'm country, but I'm not that country yet. Not ready for that.
It happened to us when we went camping.
Nice.
Doe came up to us and we fed her some bread, I think. Forget how old we were, but yeah.
So
it was pretty cool.
Coming up, giving you daps, what's up? Welcome to the forest.
What up, bro? You just came. Let me show you around.
So get a salt lick. Seriously, If you get a salt lick, you'll have deer all over the place.
Yeah, our mutual friend from Apple we were talking about was telling me about how to draw deer in. I'm like, I think they're cute. I know why you want to why you want to bring them in with salt licks. We're not talking about that. No.
As he's sharpening his butcher knife.
Right? Exactly. Polarized thinking though, black and white thinking. Reining it back in. I'm good at that. I've learned years and years. I'm gonna go off track here. Years and years of being ADD. I've learned the hard way to try to maneuver back. But polarized thinking. With it, you said that you've been impacted by it. I know I've impacted.
Yeah.
How has it impacted you? That if you can think of any examples.
Well, the big problem for me is that when I get into that mindset of the polarized thinking, I get that thinking of it can only be A or B. And yeah, that can get you in a lot of trouble when it could be C, D, E, F, or G. And it's not necessarily gets me in a lot of trouble, but man, does it feel like I just took my foot and shoved it completely down my throat.
Yeah, it happens. It happens easy.
Yeah,
we come from tech backgrounds, right? How many times have you been troubleshooting something and you're like, I know this is it. The driver isn't working. This is broken. This is dumb. I know how to do this. And somebody comes along and goes, is this supposed to be plugged in?
Right.
Right. It can be simple little thought process like that.
But the big problem with being a tech mind is that most things are binary.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because it's either the problem or it's not.
Right. Yeah. And not often enough do we take a step back and realize our thought process to what we're approaching that could be the problem.
Yeah.
And owning that is hard. Like that's a big part of inner growth. And I think a lot of us, especially if you're listening to us, like you're on that journey, right? So it's, and good on you for being on that journey. It's been a struggle for me for 45 years. I mean, I came out the wound struggling, but I'm pig-headed. You know? Yeah, I'm not a bull in a china shop. I'm just an everyday bull. Bull of shit. I'm not gonna lie. But
so, see, how about you? Anything with that with the polarized thinking?
I would say it would apply to me wanting to do like hobbies or things like that. If I'm not instantly good at it, I'm a failure.
Then how
So
the
I won't even
hell
try
did you
it.
have the patience to get good at art?
I don't know. I've just been kind of drawn for a while.
it's kind of like the imposter thing, right? Like
Yeah.
you're so used to being good at the things you're good at. You know, you try something new. You know, I want to try this new hobby, and you're like, well, if it's this difficult, I must be a failure. You know, it's really hard to get away from that. But what are the things that you've tried, see, that that reflecting back on it now, thinking removed from the situation where it's easier, looking back on it where you might have not been great, but you might have been okay, and in the moment you're beating yourself up. Like art is maybe a piece of the one of the mediums of art that you've participated in. Yeah. Have you found that to be the case, and later on you gained the skill you needed?
I found for both drawing and painting, in a way, when I first painted, I hated it, to say the least. It was my first painting, though, and I wanted nothing. I didn't want to see it. My mom kept it because she thought it was really good. I thought it was trash, and I was like, why the fuck are you keeping this?
Well,
but now
you are your own worst critic. That is a fact.
Yes, but now it's like I can paint landscapes. I'd say that's the best I can do painting-wise. The best thing I do painting-wise. I can really make some beautiful skies and landscapes.
Yeah, I'm going to say Bexy commented on your art, and you already know what the comment is.
I gotta read the chat.
Read it out loud for everybody.
Says, see, you are amazing at art. Thank you, Bexy. I try my best.
Yes, you are amazing at art. I don't have a lot of talent in art. The best I've ever done is I actually drew the Mortal Kombat logo once. That circle was really difficult to get it to stay looking like a circle. And I really concentrated hard on it, and I was pretty proud of it, but I realized doing it, I don't have the patience for this. I have the patience to learn a digital audio workstation without a help guide.
To be fair, though, you gotta have some patience for like some big things you want to do, because it can really take hours, and it can take days even to get something done, and even then you want to add more to it. So you get that.
I was in the graph when I was younger, like graffiti art. I didn't really do characters. I did the words. Not tagging, not just write my name, but like 100 cans of spray paint, 25, 35 foot wide, big productions.
Wow.
We called them pieces. And it was, I can't tell you how much I had to practice on my back fence. Thanks, Mom, for being so patient and understanding. She's like, at least it's not on an overpass. I'm like, not yet. But how long it took me to learn can control. And that's just doing what I consider perspective, what I consider simple lettering. I guess it wasn't that simple. I can imagine doing paintings, like trying to get a sky. I'm trying to get even lines,
right.
blending of like real, what I consider real artists. I mean, I guess graffiti artists.
Graffiti art is real art.
But
I'm just going to throw it out there.
It is. It is.
I have seen some things that have blown my mind out of graffiti art.
She might be using like 15 different kinds of blue to get her perfect sky. I'm like, I got Krylon blue, and I got this no-name kind of light blue, and I'm gonna try to do something with these two almost look disgusting together blues. That is, I don't consider that the same. Right?
Well, one, I just use one blue and I mix in colors of like the same palette with it to make a particular sky. And two, just want to make a small correction. Can you call me a he, please?
Yeah. C is dude.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, did I? Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay. I understand it happens, but I just wanted to make that small correction.
Nope.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. I usually try to stay gender agnostic.
Gender, like,
neutral.
Yeah.
No, it was like agnostic. I was like,
too.
that's not the right word.
Not quite.
They, them, but it's I'm still learning. It's
you can use that for me as well. I don't mind that.
Yeah. C is probably one of the chillest people that I've run into. I love you, C. Like, seriously, you are my little brother.
Oh, thank you. And you're my older brother.
Yeah, I was like, I could say you're my son, but no. I see you more of a peer.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
So, C, how about you? Do you come up with any of those distortions that really resonated with you?
Should statements.
Ooh.
I do it all the fucking time. I'm not even kidding. Like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have said this. Or, oh my God, I should have done this today. Or, I must do this today. All that type of stuff. It's the should statements.
They keep you living in your mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they make me feel guilty or shameful. And then that gets me nowhere because I'm just feeling awful. Then I spiral.
Just off of the article itself, it says for should statements, another particularly damaging distortion is the tendency to make should statements. Should statements are statements that you make to yourself about what you should do, what you ought to do, or what you must do. They can also be applied to other things, imposing a set of expectations that will likely not be met. When we hang on too tightly to our should statements about ourselves, the result is often guilt that we cannot live up to them. When we cling to our should statements about others, we are generally disappointed by their failure to meet our expectations, leading to anger and resentment. Yeah, well, also, if you are shoulding on people, you might as well be shitting on people.
Right.
So true. So true. Like,
especially if they're unaware of what you are shoulding them about.
Right.
I've had a hard time with that in the past. One of the things that I learned through counseling is if I feel somebody should have done something, the closest that may be acceptable to doing that is saying, in that situation, I would have, right? It's separating them from myself. You know, I'm still able to let my voice be heard, and then I can kind of read into it and how much that is appreciated, the statement is appreciated, or it could birth a conversation about the subject as to why I feel I would have done that. And that way somebody doesn't feel like they're being judged. Or if they are feeling judged, it's not a direct attack. And it's all in delivery. I'm still learning that one. I mess up the should statements with other people all the time because I mean I'm a know-it-all, right? Which means I don't know shit. But right, and I realize it, but in the moment I get caught up.
Go for it, C.
Should statements for me are almost always about me, like. Even on the podcast, monologue. Like, I should have said something different. Like, why did I say that? I'm such a dumbass.
Yeah,
like,
you are one of the more insightful people. Yeah. The value that you bring to the podcast is that you will see things that we miss. And you bring it up. And that is, I think that's your superpower on this podcast. You will ask questions. Yeah, you'll ask questions that, like, Bexy and I will look at each other and be like, how come we didn't think of that? And I think it has a lot to do with that youthful mind. You have more of a fluid thought process where we're more structured due to age. That's just the natural way that the brain becomes.
Right.
So you will see things that we miss.
I'm glad I can add on because I feel like a lot of the time I'm quiet.
I mean, you are, but what you add, it's like those who say the least say the most.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, from listening to the podcast, it's when you may not speak the most, but when you speak, it's because you have something to say.
Yeah.
You are not filler by any means, which is amazing. Because a lot of people like myself, my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, like, boy, you must love the sound of your own voice. And I do, right? You can tell by how much I talk. But what you share has meaning, and that's important.
Yeah. And I mean, it always comes with, just packed with heart, too. Everything that you observe. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Being someone that sometimes I'm disconnected from my own heart.
I'm glad I can add on.
Now, as for the should statements, my last therapist I had was talking about, the should statements of the future, like I should mow the lawn. I should take out the garbage.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that when you're doing that, because should does have such an inherently negative connotation, it causes a personal defiance in some people, especially myself. Because I tend to be oppositional. So what he suggested was, instead of saying should, invite yourself. I invite myself to go mow the yard. All of a sudden, it has a more... I could feel the difference in just the way I respond from, I should mow the yard. I immediately feel resent. I don't want to do it. I invite myself to mow the yard. I'm thinking, where's the battery for my mower?
Yeah. I mean, some things our therapists tell us may feel kind of silly or sound silly, and then you try it, and you're like, oh, I get it, right? What I was told with my inner monologue, with should statements is, if they're important, say I will. There's no backdoor. There's a backdoor to should. Should doesn't mean I have to. Should means I should. It can be done, but it's not imperative. If it's imperative, use I will. Or other language like I'd like to, denotes some desire, but not like it's the moral right thing to do. Because that's what should is, right? Like it almost sounds like it's moral, and we don't want to be on a moral sliding scale.
No.
Right. No.
And Richard just said, I invite myself to this row of Oreos.
Oh, man, Richard, now on Oreos. You're killing me.
Yeah, and I went from Richard's mouth to my butt.
I literally started salivating when he said that.
I love Oreos.
I embrace my fat guy. So
obviously I do too. When I worked at Apple, I weighed about 100 pounds less than I do now. Well, maybe 80 pounds less.
Funny what
Sorry, Bexy just said, keep the Oreos out of your butt. That's a terrible storage place.
Yeah, definitely don't
Some
go back to those
people might
later.
prefer it.
Yeah.
Definitely don't go back to those later. That's
Probably not.
So the cognitive distortion I wanted to bring up, the whole thing that got this going is my last therapy session brought out this term called the fundamental attribution error. Now, it does actually kind of land on this list, and I'm wondering if one of you will catch it. So the fundamental attribution error is where you tend to attribute internal reasons, qualities, whatever, to a person's behaviors as opposed to giving external. A good example is, say, you're at a party with a friend, and then this friend's like, hey, come meet my other friend. You're like, Joe. And you go to meet Joe, and Joe's just kind of like, meh. You might think, God, Joe's kind of a dick. Maybe Joe doesn't like me. Maybe, I offended him or something like that.
Yeah.
What if Joe, just before the party, his girlfriend just broke up with him? And Joe's normally a good guy. He's just having a bad day.
Yeah, you never really think of that in the moment. You know, you
it's
just kind of think like...
The external factor was he just went through a breakup, not the internal factor of he's a jerk.
Right.
And that's also falls into the mind reading fallacy.
Yeah.
And this one's big for me. Especially when it comes to like online debate, I tend to act like I know what their motives are and their feelings and their thoughts, and I don't know shit about them. And unfortunately, it also comes into my personal life too, where, like, say someone has to cancel, not on the show. I'm not going to blame the show. I'm able to compartmentalize too. But like, say I have plans with someone to go out and do something, and then they just suddenly cancel. I tend to immediately go right towards, maybe they don't like me anymore, or, I come up with some internal thing. It could be, well, their car's in the shop. They got the flu. They had a scheduling conflict. An emergency popped up. And they know that, I'll still be there, but this has to be taken care of now.
Yeah, it's really hard to remember. We don't know what's going on in other people's lives, and it's really, it's a bit of arrogance to think something has to do with us, how they're acting, So trying to bring humility into it, with a little bit of humility, we may have better communication and understanding with others, but they must be acting this way because of me, because I'm so great, right? I've been there, or I'm so horrible. Like, that's kind of arrogance that I influence everything around me. I'm this magnificent force, and like, nah, he's upset because his cat threw up on him before he came here. Who knows what it is?
Right.
Right.
Well, it's kind of one thing I had to come to terms with on my own. And this is just before I left San Diego. So you and I both know, I'm not going to drop the name, but I'll give the two initials, CC, manager, where we used to work together. iApps for a long time, then went to Pro Apps. I helped to infuse into him a no bad days kind of attitude where, doesn't matter what happens around you, you determine whether your day is good or bad. And I noticed that living in San Diego, all these people had no bad day stickers. And one thing I noticed about the people with these stickers on their vehicles is they were just as much of a rush as I was to get someplace, but they weren't sweating it when traffic got bad.
I learned that in New York. When I went to New York is an epic place. I love New York, especially being a photographer, like so many opportunities. But when I was on the phones at Apple, we get New York customers, and they all seem super rude. Like, they're all just like, give me my answers and get off the phone. And I didn't realize until I got to New York, it's the culture.
Yeah.
People are in a hurry to get from point A to point B, even if it's to get home from work, to go home, to be lonely, to cry themselves to sleep. They're in a hurry from getting home from work to get home and be lonely.
Yes.
It's just the mindset of the culture there. So hearing about the flip side of that in San Diego is pretty awesome. Like, I'm in a hurry, but it is what it is, man.
Right.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I forgot where I was going with this.
I'm super bad at that.
No, I'm bad at that too. But
yeah, so am I.
But what's funny is that I was able to take that like no bad days, but I have a hard time applying it to myself sometimes. Yet, like in a professional setting, no problem. Yeah, I totally forgot what I was saying before that. Because there was a point I was trying to make and I don't remember. Although Betsy made a good point here. I tend to blame myself when people cancel on me. I think we all do that. I think we all internalize it.
Yeah.
We take things personally that we shouldn't. And again, there's that should, but this time should being used the right way.
Yeah. And blaming yourself for somebody canceling on you, it's if you like, it's almost, it can sometimes be an insult to that person. So if somebody, like, if I blame myself and somebody said I couldn't be there because of XYZ reason. And I know they're an honest person. Really taking upon myself is not trusting their normal honest behavior. I've done the exact same thing, and like, no, really, they couldn't make it for whatever reason, and it's damaging, like at a high level, you're damaging yourself because you're beating yourself up for something that it's probably not your fault,
Yeah.
And then
Right.
it's really an insult to their honesty. It's if they say
I've never even looked at it that way, but you're absolutely right.
That is
You
true.
might as well be slapping them in the face or spitting in their mouth.
Oh, ew.
Yeah,
Ew.
that's a term. That's why I use that term, is because it is that kind of yuck. Don't do that.
I'm a visual person, and like, I feel like I got to brush my teeth after hearing that.
I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
Well, it's like those people who act like they're professional victims. You're spitting in the mouths of actual victims.
Yes.
Right.
The people that...
we all know them.
The people that lie about rape accusations. That's spitting in the mouth of actual rape victims and survivors.
Yeah.
It's also spitting in the mouths of the people who are innocent that didn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's to dilute such a serious topic. Like,
yeah,
it's unconscionable.
It's like that whole thing of if everything is X, then nothing is X. It doesn't matter what X is. If everything is racism, then nothing is racism. If everything is white supremacy, nothing is white supremacy. And that's just how it is. If you accuse it of everything, eventually it loses all of its power. And unfortunately, that means people who are victimized by this kind of shit, they don't have a voice anymore. You took it away from them. And I can't stand that.
No.
Yeah, especially on subjects where people feel they have such a small voice to begin with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
How many victims of rape actually come forward?
You said such a small percentage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's been shown statistically again and again. And that's not making it any easier.
No, like the whole Me Too thing could have been powerful on helping those people to have a voice, but instead it was weaponized. And it just took their voice, what little voice they had, it took it away.
Yeah, that's,
And I'm sorry that we're talking about some things that are kind of political, but they also impact mental health. There were people who lost their ability to come forward because something got politicized.
Yep. Yeah, very true. Or, it's something that needed so much attention, and then in some arenas it got a lot of the wrong intention, and then attention, and then people being afraid to come forward because they don't want to seem like they're trying to sensationalize it. It's such a tightrope.
And then when the media is throwing it in your face every day, people start getting numb to it.
Yep.
And again, that's taken away from the victims again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like the frequency in which we're presented with things. I mean, everybody who's listening to this podcast has a direct has seen it themselves, that the overexposure to something, the over sensationalization of something, really starts to nullify the point. Take it. How many people, before they lifted the bans, how often would you go out and people weren't wearing their masks anymore? Or when COVID started coming back, and they started saying we need masks again, people are like, nah, I'm cool, bro, not doing it.
And I mean, and our COVID case counts high right now? Yes. Fortunately, it's Omicron, so it's not as deadly, or other variations that aren't as deadly, which is a good thing. This virus is going the way that a lot of viruses go. More effective, less severe.
Yeah.
But still, you're right. People are just so done.
Yep.
Do I still see people with masks on? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I still mask up. You know, also if I'm going someplace and I am, because I work in the healthcare industry, I'm masked up. I have all my vaccinations. I feel like a porcupine. Each one I get, I feel it's a trade-off. I feel sicker than I've ever felt with each one I keep getting. However, I that peace of mind. 'Cause if I get sick, I don't care. Like, honestly, I'll make it through it. I mean, I'm young enough. I'm good. I mean, I do have diabetes and some of the things where I probably should be more worried than I am. I'm worried about bringing it home. I can imagine going and seeing a loved one and accidentally killing a loved one. I come out fine. And I'm like, man, that cold wasn't that bad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened to?
And and again, there's another distortion right there. Minimizing, maximizing. You're minimizing your own value.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't matter if I die. Right. Let's get that straight.
Right, but you tend to take more risks for yourself than you would for others.
We talked about that earlier.
Yes, we did. But it's true.
Yeah. I mean,
like that whole thing is, you shove me, no big deal. You shove someone significant to me, and I'm going to jump your shit.
Yeah, it's going to get dark real quick.
And Favor actually, Favor and I have actually been talking a lot lately, and this is something I absolutely adore. The way that she can actually look at something, again, that polarized thinking. She comes through with a different perspective. You can never say what you would do unless you've been there. Not wanting a rape publicized, everyone to know, see that person again, whatever. I completely understand one person stand up to a perpetrator, then others joining in a cause, they have someone to back them up, not go through it alone. And then, of course, like you said, too, there's some people that they just don't want to go through it again, so they just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Reliving trauma.
Yeah, and those are the people that my heart breaks for more than anybody. Yeah. But again, there's that if you have polarized thinking, this goes counter to polarized thinking. This shatters it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kat said, I haven't stopped wearing masks here in California. I stopped wearing masks pretty quickly, not gonna lie. I mean, I wore them for a long time, and I will still typically have a cloth mask in my pocket just in case. And I have, masks in my vehicle too. But like today, Austin and I, we went and took a walk around a lake. We're outside. Who needs a mask?
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, I have to be in an enclosed area with a bunch of people in it. Like, I've been, like, going out to Wally World, go in and go, oh, yeah, no, I forgot, and go back to my car. And when I do mask,
I'm sorry,
I should mask more consistently.
If it's Wally World, I'm going to wear a mask no matter what because it's Wally World.
Right?
I don't trust the customers.
Yeah, I wear N95 and I wear a cloth over it. It's working where I work and seeing some of the reports that I see. I know damn well I should be wearing masks more often, and I don't really have an excuse not to. It's fatigue, pandemic fatigue.
Yeah, and then Bexy said some people speak but are not believed. And I think that's one of the fears that causes some people to never come forward, is what if no one believes me? As a matter of fact, I know someone very personally, one of the closest people to me in my entire life, who did have something happen to them. They knew that I would believe them, but they were afraid that I would be the only person that believed them.
Oh.
But that's their story to tell, and I'm not going to go into any more details.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in that situation and being gaslit. Like, I wouldn't even want to think about that. It's too much. So I can see why people don't. I mean, people don't like going to the dentist, so they'll avoid going to the dentist, and all their teeth will fall out, right? And if you're going to avoid something like that, which isn't nearly as bad as the experience of speaking up. You know, I can only imagine how easy it is for people to avoid it, to not relive it. You know, well, any easy is like not a good word to use because nothing about that situation is easy. But
No.
to steer away from it, to not want to deal with that, to not want to relive it, I can imagine.
Kind of like if you have an injury that if you don't move it, it doesn't hurt so bad, but it's not healing. You don't want to go to the doctor and have to move it to demonstrate to the doctor this is what hurts.
I know that all too well.
Sarah came on. Hi, all. I've been listening. I was just forearm deep in Meatloaf Mix. So, Us, I didn't realize that your name is Meatloaf Mix.
Yeah, you thought I was sitting down right now. I'm not.
And then Kat was talking about the masking up. Maybe it's because I'm living in a predominantly Asian community. Parentheses didn't used to be. They seem more accepting of it. Just culturally speaking, for a lot of Asian cultures, it's considered polite if you're sick to put on a mask. That's just a cultural thing.
Growing up in San Francisco, like having to go through part of Chinatown to get to one of the jobs I had, and this is like mid 90s. Even back then, you had masks all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know better. I was like, are all these people stealing these masks from their doctors? Like, you know, like not getting it. But yeah, like it was like, and it's the older generation that was doing it. They were gangsters too. Like the older, like the going through there, like I mean, I'm not the tallest dude. I'm like 6 foot, but I'd have somebody who's like nipple high to me, like 13 years older than Jesus, come up and catch me in the ribs with their elbow, push me out the way to get on the bus. I'm like, I'm scared of you. Get down with your walker.
It's like, you're willing to do that to me. I'm not. I'm afraid to know what else you're willing to do.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm half Filipino, raised by the Filipino side of my family. I am afraid of the slipper, so the chinela. So it's I'm not messing with them. Not them. Mm-mm.
All right. Nope. So Us, let's go reel it back. What's another one on this list that popped out to you?
Let's see. So, emotional reasoning. So this may be one of the most surprising distortions to many readers, and it's also one of the most important to identify and address. The logic behind this distortion is not surprising to most people. Rather, it's the realization that virtually all of us have bought into this distortion at one time or another. One more paragraph, keep listening. Emotional reasoning refers to the acceptance of one's emotions as fact. It can be described as, I feel it, therefore I must be true. Just because we feel something doesn't mean it's true. For example, we may become jealous and think our partner has feelings for someone else, but that doesn't make it true. Of course, we know it isn't reasonable to take our feelings as facts, but it's a common distortion nonetheless. So one of my favorite shirts says, in huge letters across the back, feelings aren't facts. Right? We can all have our feelings, but when we turn them into facts, like things, talk about distortion, like it's correct verbiage there. And it's like, I've done that. Like, I'm not as guilty. I don't think Sarah would be able to bust me out on this one. I don't think I do that as much as I used to, but it's like jealousy is a big one, right? I'm not inherently a jealous person, but that brought up a great thing. Like if I thought somebody I was seeing was into somebody else, I would have like my imaginative mind would go crazy, and it was already like they have already full blown cheated, are in love, and they're planning their marriage, and I just know that's what's happening. I'm like, nah, bro, it's jealousy. Like, let's reel it back. Like, why do I feel this way? Why am I threatened? And what can I do? The healthy thing would be like, what can I do to build myself up so I'm no longer threatened by this?
Right.
You know,
because ultimately, and this came from my therapist too, is like things like that jealousy, it served a purpose at one point in your life. Figure out why, address it, because it's only doing you harm at this point.
Sure.
And then Sarah said something like, man, Sarah, thank you for saying this. This is summed up beautifully. I don't think I know one woman who doesn't have a Me Too story. Not one. Now it's one of the most polarized things. Either we aren't believed because of people trying to exploit it, or people jump so hard on the bandwagon that the accused's careers, marriages, and names are obliterated based on one person's word. There has to be a happy medium. I mean, like, okay, we're going to just plow into some controversy here in politics and stuff. Brett Kavanaugh. Accused. That's it. Accused. Are we not supposed to be a nation that bases on innocent until proven guilty? Yet there are people to this day that still think that he is a serial rapist. On what evidence? Accusations. Now, is he? I don't know. If he is, to hell with that guy. But I don't know.
Right.
But I'm not going to condemn him off of some people's words that have a reason to not like him. They are motivated to not like him. I'm sorry, I can only take that so far. You know, let's look at
the Johnny Depp thing.
Let's look at the Johnny Depp as another one.
Yeah. Everybody, everybody's favorite daytime drama to watch, right? Like, he got canceled left and right. Like, corporate America and big picture Hollywood was like, "See ya, you know, we're done with you." And then the truth came out. You know,
it was Amber Turd the whole time.
Yes.
Oh, I kind of dated somebody like her once, and seeing that, I was like, I had low self-esteem, and I thought I could fix her. That whole white knight thing we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
She needs fixing. I can fix her, to my detriment.
By the way, Sarah left you a message in the chat specifically for you.
See, you've gotten really good about checking yourself. Those are some of the hardest for me. I have trouble trusting myself sometimes. I tend to take a lot more off of people than I should, because I don't know if I'm just up to my feelings. Don't know if I'm just up to my feelings. She shoulders a lot, way more than she should. And I've been working on trying to help her with that. For those of you who are listening who don't know, I haven't figured out, there's somebody named Sarah in the chat. She is by far my better half. If I'm ever not in the chat room for more than a week at a time, just assume she's probably killed me and I've deserved it. She's buried me somewhere on our property. I put her through hell sometimes. I try to make up for it though. She's got a sense of humor about it, but things are only funny for so long. Yeah. But no, she's amazing, and she does take on the world. A lot of it is Sarah would rather shoulder it, the weight of what emotional thing is happening, and not have to. She'll internalize it so that she doesn't have to. So it doesn't blow up. I don't know if I'm putting that right. I wish she was on. She better explain it. Yeah, we can do that for each other. I love you.
Aww.
It's
so sweet.
It's every time you talk about her, you light up. You are smitten. I mean, let's just be honest. You are smitten.
She's the one that got away. Like, when we first met, when I was in Kansas City, and when I left Kansas City, I'm not going to go into the whole story. She didn't come with me. That's my fault. And we were able to reconnect. And I severely fucked up two marriages because they weren't her.
Ooh.
And that's I was really unhealthy. And I was really unfair to both of those women. It's, I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't know how broken or damaged I was.
So basically, every time you got married, you were holding them up to Sarah and going, "You don't measure up."
Well, yeah, and the first one was bad because I didn't really want to get married, and I felt I was paying penance for leaving Sarah behind. I was like, I deserve this relationship, so I'm just going to go through it, and I'm doing what I think is the right thing to do, and because it's what's supposed to happen.
And I'm going to
horrible
jump in on this one. It's like C's supposed to go next, but you actually just segued to the second fallacy I really wanted to talk about, which was heaven's reward fallacy.
Yeah.
This distortion is a popular one. I'm reading from the article. This distortion is a popular one, and it's easy to see myriad examples of this fallacy playing out on big and small screens across the world. The heaven's reward fallacy manifests as a belief that one's struggles, one's suffering, and one's hard work will result in a just reward. My little part, what makes you deserve the reward? Going on more with the article, it is obvious why this type of thinking is a distortion. How many examples can you think of just within the realm of your personal acquaintances where hard work and sacrifice did not pay off? Sometimes no matter how hard we work or how much we sacrifice, we will not achieve what we hope to achieve. To think otherwise is a potentially damaging pattern of thought that can result in disappointment, frustration, anger, and even depression when the awaited reward does not materialize. And for those that are really not right in the head, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, it can lead to harm. Not just themselves, but others as well. It can be really, really bad. Because I deserved this. Really?
Right.
Really? You deserved it because you worked hard. Why does that make you deserve it? Why does working hard make you deserve it? I could spend all day, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, digging holes and refilling them in my backyard. That is a lot of hard work. What reward do I get for that?
Right.
This affects me in a different kind of way. Where with me, not that I don't feel like I deserve something that I've worked really hard for, but if I work my ass off for something and I don't get it, I don't do the whole like I deserved it temper tantrum, I did this and whatever thing. I'm like, okay, I just need to keep at it. I keep at it until I'm like, okay, that's not my goal anymore, and I change my goal. Like it's a really healthy, I think, is a healthy way of going at it.
I agree.
While still absolutely knowing my own value. On the flip side of that, like I just said, sorry, that was my phone blowing everyone's ears up. On the flip side of that, it is, I'm very much about owning the things that I've done and owning the consequences. So the whole concept of paying penance for something I've done, people will, I've had friends go like, you put yourself through enough for this. Like you've more than made up for it. I'm like, and I'll be like, no, I haven't. I will ride this train straight into hell, head on fire like Ghost Rider. Because it's just the whole penance thing. I did something and I really deserved that punishment for doing it.
Yeah, so that is definitely the flip
my
side
God,
to the heaven's
yes.
reward. And you may punish yourself more than anybody would ever reasonably do.
Oh, 100%. Like we're like our own worst critic.
Is blown. He's like, I have examples.
Yeah, please, let's hear them.
Some of them.
You don't have to share anything you don't want.
I just can't talk about, but yeah, that is like my silence. I don't know what to say. That just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That if you ever need to talk to someone, we can always take it offline.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Judgment-free zone. Well, okay, obviously, literally the brain is a judgment engine, but I'm not going to judge too harshly.
Okay.
I have nothing but love for you, so.
Okay.
It's coming from a place of caring, for sure. Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
You say that a lot.
Yes.
I get it. You're a tough nut to crack. You really are. But I love you to death because of it. Not in spite of it, because of it. I've always found that the most interesting people are the ones with the thickest shells.
Yeah. Once that shell gets cracked, though.
That.
Yeah. Well, once you break the seal, those people,
the rewards are pretty amazing.
Yeah. There is so much of consequence, of substance that's often there.
Yeah, you're not an emotional floozy, honey.
I mean, I can be sometimes. Just put on a Disney movie, like my everyday look. Like, I don't present as your general soft kind of person. It's not on purpose. It's just the way I grew up.
I'm sorry. The first time I saw you, I immediately went, "This guy's a big teddy bear." That was my initial impression of you.
Yes, but you saw me at work.
No.
No?
I met you before I ever started working there.
Really?
Yeah, our mutual friend, R.A.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
So I met you outside of work a few times.
Man, that dude makes you put my guard up, too, because he's... Our mutual friend is like an insult ninja. He only insults you if he loves you.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it like, not in a bad way.
No,
but
it's
like
always funny as hell.
Like how guys will absolutely try to destroy each other's self-esteem, amongst each other. Let somebody else try to insult one of us. Nah,
and
he's all over them.
Yeah, you face all of us.
He's like, no, that's my whipping boy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very much like that too. But he also will take it with just as great humor as he dishes it, which is just amazing. Yeah. I mean, he's the kind of guy that'll tell one of his friends. He's the kind of guy that'll tell his friends, like, look, I know 5 fat people in this world, and you're 4 of them. That's the kind of insults he fires.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. And
he is for me, he is one of the smartest people I've ever run into. And he sees
smart.
And
scary smart.
Not only scary smart, scary good at keeping perspective and keeping reality. I have not seen him see things wrong at all. This dude he is unbelievable, and I am so proud to be able to call him a friend.
Yeah, he has an uncanny ability to be unbiased as well.
Yeah.
But you have to tell him, I need an unbiased opinion, and then he'll load his unbiased cartridge and be able to go there. Otherwise, he'll be his normal judgy self.
Oh yeah, he's a judgmental asshole. But that's also what makes him so great.
Yeah, but he's like our judgmental asshole, So super solid dude. Like, love that guy to death. Yeah,
he totally takes advantage of work. He can he is so capable. Like, he can do an entire week's worth of work in 4 hours, and then he can just fuck around for the rest of the week.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't. Super capable dude.
Yeah, but he'll knock out something and then goof off for the rest of the day. Then knock out something the next day, goof off for the rest of the day.
And he'll tell anybody he cares about at work. He'll tell you the joys of front loading your work. He'll tell you, if you have X amount of work to do, if you bust your butt, don't take breaks, work through your breaks, go run in the red line for 1 day, you can fuck off for 4 days.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, most people will fuck off for 4 days, and they are stressed about being in the red on the 5th day. He's like, you have no stress to do it the other way. He's the one, efficient laziness is amazing.
Yeah, I had another friend like that when I worked at Kinko's. He's like, I work really hard so I can goof off. And he's like, and I've worked really hard to make sure I do it right the first time so I don't have to repeat the work. So, when I had to cover his graveyard shift a couple times, that's what I did. I busted my ass, got everything done in the first 2 hours, and I had 6 hours to goof off. Because it's graveyard shift at fucking Kinko's. No one's coming in.
Yeah. It's one of those people who are working when you go to McDonald's and the shake machine's broke. It's like, no, fucker, you cleaned it early. You don't have to dirty it. Yeah. That's my thought. Stop being efficient, lazy. messing up my shake time.
I work hard because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
And that's a concept that a lot of people just don't grasp. Even when you explain it to them, they still get that the glassy eyes. I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry, I can't explain it any more clearly than if you get your work done early, you can goof off.
Right.
And you know what? In a lot of jobs, they may not appreciate that you're utilizing your time that way, but they will appreciate that the work is done.
Right.
And if you're doing piecework, they're happy. They don't care how many hours you put in. You're getting the work done.
Kind of have that benefit where I'm at. Sometimes it is super, like I'll have super slow weeks where I don't have a whole lot going on, and it's like they appreciate, and I front load. Like I'll have a project that's done in a month, that's due in a month, done 2 days after it was given to me, and so that I can rest. But a lot of places is like, especially with task-based work, as long as you're providing excellence at their business cultural accepted level, they're okay with it. It depends on how you present, because a lot of your peers may not be doing that, and they just think you're screwing off and wondering like, how is he always getting top rated on the reports and all the kudos, but they're never doing anything. It's like, well, you don't see me doing anything because I keep my head down when I'm doing it.
And that's where our friend R.A., he flaunts it. He's like, I'm already done with this. What are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I know why he does it. He's doing it so that way, A, his manager's aware that he is working his ass off, and B, making sure everybody understands he does work his ass off. So when you see him goofing off, he's earned it.
Yeah, and I've seen his managers try to give him more work because he finishes work early, and he'll straight tell his manager, "I'm not doing more than anybody else. We're getting paid the same."
Yeah,
and the manager's like, I don't know. Okay, all right. I'm just not going to argue with you. You're a headache. Go away.
But you give him a raise above everybody else, he'll take on an appropriate amount of extra work. I've seen him 100%
will. Yes, he will.
Yes, he will. But he will also get that done fast, too, and say the same thing. When you're like, hey, can you add this on? I'm not getting paid for that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, how do you argue with that? How do you argue with that?
You can't.
There's no comeback. It's like, you're not being productive right now. Well, I've already outproduced everybody else. I've outproduced all of my peers.
They've tried to get him to go into leadership, and he's just like, no. He's like, I get to do what I'm doing now. I work as much as I want to work. I get paid a living wage, and most important to him, he's able to be there for his kids.
Yes,
his kids need anything. His kids are his life. So if his kids need anything, he could be there. He could drop out halfway through his work day, take care of his kids' things, come back to work. Nobody know he's gone. He's been gone because the work he was supposed to do today was done last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even when we were on the campus together, I don't think that his TM would have complained if he was like, I got to go and take care of this thing. I'll be back. Because again, his work's fucking done.
Well, he's always been the person where his TM would go to him and be like, hey, my butt's in a sling. Can you help me? And R will absolutely fix it.
Every time. Every time.
He's like, oh, you need help getting out of trouble? You need me to help you? We're remembering I'm helping you right now for the future, right? I'm helping you get out of trouble. Yeah? Cool. I'm helping you. Yeah, all right.
This is not going in the review, but it's going in the review.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. It's not going in the review, but he's keeping score.
Oh, yeah.
Because he will absolutely later on go, hey.
He'll cash in those checks.
100%. 100%. Very few people. In a work environment, he's very like that. With his friends, he doesn't keep score at all, which is there's such a contrast there.
Yeah, he's just a really good friend. Like if you become if he decides that you're a friend, that's that is not a bridge I will ever willingly burn ever. And if I ever see it on fire, I'm bringing the water. I'll piss on that bridge if I could save it that way because I do not want to lose him.
I got a quick funny story, and maybe we can move on.
Then we got to get back in on this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So he invites me over for Thanksgiving one year.
Oh, his Friendsgiving?
And yeah, his Friendsgiving. I used to go to his Thanksgivings.
Oh,
Like
nice.
he lived with me for a couple of years, and like we're super close. We haven't talked as much as we should, but anyway. So
Yeah, you just
it's weird.
shitted all over him.
Huh?
You just shitted all over him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did. It would be better if I spoke with him more. I don't know what language. I don't know. I'll try more at that later. But
More communication would probably be a good way to go.
There you go. It'd be great if we had more communication.
We've actually been
It could
chatting
bring
today.
better times.
We've been
Have
chatting
you?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta give him a call so he can insult me.
Yeah.
I had to use the bathroom, so and it's weird. Like Thanksgiving, everybody congregates around the kitchen and the counters, and so he's in there. His kids are in there. Even his dog, I think, is in the kitchen. There might be a duck in the house. I don't know.
Yeah, he has ducks, and we're not talking about like mallards. We're talking about massive fucking ducks. They don't even. He had
quack. Like the Debo of ducks.
Yeah.
Like you go outside, like one smoking a cigar, lifting weights, like it's crazy.
Yeah, his ducks have nearly murdered their neighbor's cat because it wandered into the yard.
Wow.
Yeah,
ducks
tripping ducks.
It's like regular, ducks are not a very nice bird to begin with, and these things are almost geese in size.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and
but the eggs are delicious.
I made his entire family laugh, and then they laughed at me throughout the entire night. So I go to use his bathroom, and I'm sitting on the porcelain fountain, and I'm like, "What's that switch there?" And I push a switch.
No.
I never used a bidet ever in my life.
Oh.
I had the coldest, hardest water hit the holiest of holies when I was unexpecting it. And I shot off of the toilet and smacked my head into his wall.
Oh!
And I was like, woo! Like screamed, hit his wall, sat back down, trying to turn it back off. Like I'm soaked. And I'm just like, all right, I need to talk to an adult now because I'm not okay with what just happened. I got assaulted by a fucking toilet. So I'm in there hella long, use a whole ass roll of toilet paper, trying to dry myself off. You know, like fucking drying my hair or whatever. Like I was fucking wet. And I opened the door and everybody just looks at me and he like 1980s style points and laughs at me, cackling. Yeah, it was an experience. And you know, it's very, very, very apropos for his house. Because I mean, if my self-esteem is going to be destroyed anywhere, it's going to be in his presence, in a loving way. But yeah, So I don't know if I'll ever use one of those again.
You were traumatized by your first experience.
Dude, like I just.
But that's the danger of what's this button do?
Yeah.
I'm a giant kid. If there's a button, especially don't put anything that remotely looks like don't touch or don't push on it. I'm like, whoo. I'm a speed jab it. But that was just like, what's that?
Bet you don't make that mistake again.
Horrible. No. Well, now I have two habits. Like I found a spider underneath the toilet seat when I was a kid. So I cannot sit on a toilet without lifting the toilet seat. It's been like that since like 4th grade. I found one once. I'm arachnophobic forever. That's just giving me heebie-jeebies thinking about it. And now I don't just do that. I look in the toilet for a little spray sprout thing because not fucking with it.
So really fast, did you hear about the guy in Australia who got bit in the dingling by a redback, which is their version of a black widow? He sat down on a toilet. There was a redback in there.
We can't be friends no more. Bringing that stuff up. Oh my god!
The sad thing is after he recovered, he had it happen again at a different location.
Oh my god!
It's like, dude, didn't you learn the first time?
I'd be shitting in buckets after the first. Like I would use a clean bucket every single time for the rest of my life. Like I'd be so traumatized. I couldn't. Had to flush the toilet like 83 times before you said no. Oh my god! Like Did I not just mention I'm arachnophobic? Like we might have missed that part. That's the scariest movie I've ever heard. I've seen is Arachnophobia. Supposed to be remaking it too.
I consider it one of the greatest comedies I ever saw. Of course, I wanted to be an entomologist. Spiders are my favorite of all insects. So the premise of crossbreeding spiders had me dying of laughter because they can't.
I don't eat crabs because it's an arachnid of the sea. That's how much I don't like spiders.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had one person that's like, don't eat shrimp because they're the insects of the ocean. I'm like, you do realize that we're the weird culture not eating insects.
Yeah.
Shut him up real quick.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, I was reading the chat. What'd you say?
So one person was trying to say you shouldn't eat shrimp because they're the insects of the ocean. And I looked at him and said, we are the odd culture out that we don't eat insects. Shut him up fast.
Man, I don't like any of this conversation. Like,
well, see.
Yeah. Ugh.
Was there another one that resonated off of that list? Or if you know of any others? It doesn't have to be off the list.
Yeah, see, please save me.
Okay. Catastrophizing.
Oh, yes.
Every bad thing that can happen in my mind will happen, especially when it comes to school. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to be a failure. I'm not going to even have a degree. You know, not a degree, but a diploma. You know what I mean? Things like that. And just situations in general, I think about the worst thing that will happen if it's like a new place or we're just going out. It'll just come to mind. And it always stays in mind.
So
it's like
from the article,
Murphy doesn't just follow you. They're your personal stalker. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It just can't possibly be anything successul.
I tried to beat the shit out of Murphy and it didn't go well. Again, everything that could go wrong in that fight went wrong.
Yeah, you slipped. There was the banana peel on the floor. Yeah.
So from the article, they call it the magnification or minimization, also known as catastrophizing. It is also known as the binocular trick for its stealthy skewing of your perspective. This distortion involves exaggerating or minimizing the meaning, importance, or likelihood of things. A good example here, an athlete who's generally a good player but makes a mistake may magnify the importance of the mistake and believe that he is a terrible teammate. Yeah. While an athlete who wins a coveted award in her sport may minimize the importance of the award and continue believing that she is only a mediocre player.
Yep.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Kind of like imposter syndrome. Yeah, but it's like, I got this award, okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean.
Like, dude, if you, okay, you're the league MVP. I don't see it, but okay. Like, okay, no, you are the league MVP. You're the greatest player in the league this year. I made this one mistake one time during the season.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody makes mistakes through the season. Everybody.
Yeah, I get that. Well, it kind of goes back to our earlier conversation. By the way, like it can be small or it can be big. Like I can't take compliments. I'm not good at compliments.
No.
They make me feel really uncomfortable. You know, and which is like been a hard one for me because I'm a photographer and I've been told I'm a talented photographer. And
you should share some of your photos up on the Discord.
I did back in the day. I haven't been on Discord forever. I forgot my password. I can't reset it because you know I don't. You know because I don't work because I work in tech and I don't understand how to reset passwords for some reason. I don't know.
Meanwhile, I was wondering when I was taking the security calls that I just reset my password like 3 days ago. I would say that about 20 times a day, every day, even though I have not forgotten my password because I actually have a system for my passwords.
So do I. Now I do. Yeah. Except the way I look at it is if somebody can get into one of my accounts with my system, they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have passwords. It's like I'm typing for a while.
Same.
You know? Yeah. But the magnification or minimization, I personally have like I minimize my successes.
Yes.
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 Especially and you being an artist, I bet you do that with your art.
All the time.
People be like, that's amazing. You're like, oh no, I messed up here, here, and here. I didn't mean to do this, and I do that in my photography.
Hey, Osh.
People are like, this is.
Yes.
Remember the conversation we had on chat last night about my music?
Yeah, dude.
You want to talk about minimizing successes?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of any of his music, but he sent me something that he produced, and it's a banger. I was a DJ for 6 years. I am an aficionado of EDM. But it was a banger, and he's like, kind of towards his music. And I was just like,
it's like, well, it still needs polish. I spent 2 hours on it. And...
Yeah.
Well, and that's what blew me away. I was like, 2 hours?
Yeah,
like 2 hours. For real?
2 hours for real.
Yeah,
I started it at midnight. At 1:54, I was saving, bouncing, and walking out of the office.
That's so insane to me. Like, I can't. Like, I
don't know how long would a song like that take most people. I have no idea.
I don't know. Literally.
I don't know if I'm gonna have like savants.
8 weeks. 8 weeks. And scrap songs at 8 weeks.
I have never spent more than a week on a song.
Wow.
Cool. I'm happy for your success.
I'm sorry. Again, I'm trying to gauge where I am because I've never talked to anybody about how long it takes to write a song before. This is my first time ever actually going, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I'm like doing some savant level shit or if I'm just some hack. I don't know.
Right. I know for me as well, I minimized a lot. Me getting my scholarships. It's like, oh yeah, I got those. Some people recognized me for some great grades. It's like, yeah, anyone can do that.
Not anyone can get great grades. I've seen some people work their asses off and never get great grades.
That's true. That's very true.
And actually,
I had an overall GPA in high school of 1.3.
And you're no dummy.
I got a solid GED.
Well,
and I'd like to think I'm kind of bright.
You were just probably bored. That'd be my guess.
Super bored. Yeah, like when the SATs, I think the max score was like 1,600 or something like that. I smoked me and my buddy smoked an eighth of weed, and I scored like 15 something.
Damn. I remember.
Although I'm gonna be honest. I guessed on a little bit of the math. But
the thing is with the SAT is that wrong answers get punished.
Yeah.
They're not like, if you get the answer wrong, we're not going to take away points. They take away points to make sure that you're not guessing. You're better off leaving it blank than you are to guess. Now, when I did my SAT, the thing is that every SAT is different. Some are tougher than others. I happened to be in a cohort that had a really, really tough SAT. I scored a 970, which doesn't sound impressive, but I scored in the top 50th percentile on my lowest category, and I scored the top 95th percentile in mathematics. Yet I still only scored a 970. It was just an exceptionally tough SAT that year.
Wow.
I mean, if you score in the top 95th percentile, you're doing something right. That's top 5%. Yeah.
I didn't do the SATs. They didn't make us because it was all online.
I mean, I had plans of going.
You had to do them in person.
Yeah, I had plans on going directly to a 4-year, but One of my college, to kind of give an idea how bored I was in high school, I had a 2.0 for most of my time in high school. It was AF 2.0. You could tell which subjects I enjoyed and which ones I hated.
Fair enough.
I was going to go for higher education. I really, really, really wanted to be a psychologist. And I've kind of struggled with math. I've dyslexia pretty bad. And on the side of that, I have dyscalculia, even worse than my dyslexia. If you've ever read a text from me, and you've probably seen it in chat, because this chat on a Mac doesn't correct my spelling. Like Hooked on Phonics worked for me. Yeah, I sound everything out. And that's how you're getting it. It looks like,
So basically, if you can't understand it, read it out loud and listen to what you're saying.
I'll just sound it out and go like, oh, that's what he's saying. But I really wanted to become a psychologist. They told me I take for thinking. I was like, well, fuck you and your horse. I guess I'm going to sell drugs.
Okay, so what you were just saying, so what you were saying, you started telling your story, and then it was just, and fuck you and your horse. That's what we heard.
Yeah.
So, like, the meat and potatoes of that whole thing is gone. We got the dessert.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. So basically, I wanted to become a psychiatrist, and I found out you needed calculus for critical thinking.
Oh no!
And so I was like, I'm not like, what do I need calculus for to understand the human mind? Like, and so I was basically like, fuck you. I'm just going to go sell drugs. So that's what I did. So, but the idea of being able to get scholarships, like, that's so mind blowing to me. Like, that's not something I would ever think that I would ever be capable of doing because of how I performed in school. I'm street smart. I was telling E earlier, I'm street smart and I'm people smart. I'm not that book smart.
And that's fine.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I think that you've done pretty damn well with your life, considering, it's like, hey,
better than I should have.
Hey, you got dealt,
minimizing.
Yeah, well, you got dealt a hand, and you've been playing it optimally. I'll put it that way. Like the thing I said earlier today at the lake too, and it's a mantra I've tried to take on, which is, I have survived 100% of all of my mistakes and all of my bad days. I have a 100% survival rate.
That's epic. What'd Faber say?
Oh, they were talking about.
Oh, we haven't read the chat in a while.
No.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, they're having
Enjoy your chat.
They're having a conversation.
Oh yeah, no, I just saw a big block of text there, but we don't got to talk about spiders. Hi, Faber. You can keep your spiders to yourself. Thanks for sharing.
Now there was
I'm gonna get goosebumps just talking about it. Like.
Man, I could be really mean right now. I think I'm not going to this time.
Don't channel your inner RA.
Yeah, that's why RA became really good, and I became good friends, is because we have a very similar sense of humor, and we both like to do the same things. Of course,
he helped me find humility.
Oh yeah, I don't know that he has any real humility.
I
don't think he does. No. But I think if you ever caught him on something wrong, good luck. He probably would own up to it. He's got that kind of integrity about him. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
The dick.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, the only thing I've got.
He is not of this world, I swear.
The only thing I've ever gotten to really, truly make fun of him for is his beard. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing that he does.
It is patchier than mine, and that's saying something. His beard looks terrible. I'm sorry, RA. If you're listening, which I doubt you are, it's true. Your beard is
saying any. He takes the fun out of it because, like, I'd rip him on his beard, and he just doesn't care. So it takes the fun out of it. I'm like, I can't even. It's not. And then he'll just shoot him right back at me. I'm like, all right, well, just gonna go cry by myself now. Thanks.
Yeah.
So,
a couple of fallacies that came up on here. The number 5 and 6, jumping to conclusions, mind reading, and jumping to conclusions, fortune telling. Raise your hand if you're guilty.
Fortune telling. How's the fortune telling work again?
So, here are the two. I'll do the first one and then the second one because the paragraphs kind of lead into each other. The mind reading. The jumping to conclusions distortion manifests as the inaccurate belief that we know what another person is thinking, which is, of course, mind reading. Of course, it is possible to have an idea what other people are thinking, but this distortion refers to the negative interpretations that we jump to. Seeing a stranger with an unpleasant expression and jumping to the conclusion that they are thinking something negative about you is an example of this distortion, which also feeds into the fundamental attribution error. The fortune telling is a sister distortion to mind reading. Fortune telling refers to the tendency to make conclusions and predictions based on little to no evidence and holding them as gospel truth. That C's hand came up. Like, one example of fortune telling is a young single woman predicting that she will never find love or have a committed and happy relationship based only on the fact that she has not found it yet. There's simply no way for her to know how her life will turn out, but she sees this prediction as fact rather than one of several possible outcomes.
Yeah.
It is. It's hard to help friends who are going through that. I have one right now who she's had failed relationship after failed relationship. And she has a couple of kids who are on the spectrum, and she's a single mom, and she's just like, I'm never gonna find somebody. And she's an amazing person. And I'm like, I wish you could see you through my eyes. Like, and it's nothing you could say, you know. Yeah.
That was Bexy at first, but it took just a few of us to really help build her up, and you know Bexy now. You would not have liked Bexy then. I mean, you may have, because you have the ability also to see through shit.
Yeah.
Sarah just said something about fatalism. I need to look that one up.
Yeah, I just right-clicked it and look up fatalism. Let's see, fatalism, the belief that all events are predetermined and therefore inevitable. A submissive outlook resulting from a fatalistic attitude. Yeah. I always think I'm a magnet for liars, cheaters, and beaters. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ian and I had a conversation about that subject earlier. Probably not gonna bring that up again. My response to that fortune tailing fatalism. Oh yeah, there you go. He's on. Yeah, destiny and fate are two different things. Like, it's...
Yeah, Favor was just saying, I fully believe in destiny, not fate.
Yeah, the difference in destiny and fate is kind of there's so much more road that means something between where you arrive, right? It's something that I've been trying to learn to enjoy, is the journey instead of the destination.
Oh, yeah. If you're not enjoying the journey,
my uncle is very much that way.
I was gonna say, if you're not enjoying the journey, you're missing out on the point.
Yeah.
But let's. I want to roll back a little bit here. See, you raised your hand on the fortune telling. You want to share?
Fortune telling. Oh, yeah. Wait, can you read what it was again? It completely slipped my mind.
Fortune telling is the tendency to make conclusions and predictions based on little to no evidence and holding them as gospel truth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I still maintain that no one will love me and that I will die alone.
I love you very much so. And you can die in my house with me.
I mean, like, romantically.
Oh, well, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
that's
that's
what I'm talking about.
You are a very awesome person. I think that you could easily find someone to fall madly and deeply in love with you. Seriously. I know you don't believe it. You're minimizing. You're minimizing.
I have learned that you find love when you're not looking. So being in that space, you're still capable of having somebody find you and love you. It's the best relationships some of the best relationships I've had have been, I'm not looking for something right now. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is a thing now. So it's, yeah, it's kind of like one of those things, like you may not believe in love for yourself, but I am sure love believes in you and it will find you.
You know what? That right there reminds me of the Tesla song, the love song. Love will find a way. If you're not familiar with that song, I would check it out. It's a great song. It's one of their best.
I got nothing.
No, and see, I mean, you're still really young, so you have time on your side.
Yeah, that's
as well.
exactly what I was gonna say, but I hate waiting for the future. Honestly, I just wish I could blink and be 80 years old.
And Kat just did it again. She did it. She did the fortune telling. I'm 66 plus and know that romance is completely out of the picture for me. You don't know that. You don't know that.
Yep.
I'm not saying hold your breath, but I'm also not saying to shudder yourself. Kat just also made a Jurassic Park reference there. Like nature finds a way.
Yeah, it's surprising, like the way that the world will bring people together in the most uncanny ways. We don't. Truth is, we don't know anything. We may feel it in our hearts, but we may have a feeling, but feelings are facts, right? We don't know what's going to happen. Now, if you don't want love, you can say, I know I'm not going to find somebody because I don't want to find somebody. But if the openness is there, we really don't know what the future holds.
And even if you do say, I don't want this, doesn't mean that it won't happen anyway.
Yeah.
Emotions
it means
are
it won't happen
things.
right now. Right now in this moment, you're 100% right. Right now, this second, you're right. But you don't know what's tomorrow.
I mean, my first marriage, I found the person attractive, but I didn't think that we had anything in common. I didn't see anything coming between us. Then she went ahead and, teenage pregnancy, had a kid. And at first I was really judgy about that. I was like, yeah, there's no way I would ever get involved with someone like that. Well, one day I had gotten someone else pregnant, so all of a sudden, my perspective changed a bit. One day my sister said, hey, I need a ride up to the high school to pick up some stuff for a research paper, and I'm playing hooky. Can you give me a ride? Now, at this point in my life, I love nothing more than to inconvenience my sister, so why I said sure, I don't know. But I did. And I wound up dropping her off by what was affectionately called the gazebo. There was a gazebo just off the high school campus where all the smokers went. And me, I'm very anti-smoker. And this, my ex-wife was a smoker. So again, there's so many things that it should never have happened. Well, she started waving at me to come and hang out with him for a minute while my sister was running to her locker to get her stuff. So I was like, okay, whatever, let's go check it out. She's like, yeah, my fiance just dumped me, and I need a friend. We're friends, right? I'm like, okay. I never have I don't have anything against you. Okay. She's like, let's go to a movie tonight. Can we go to a movie tonight? I really need to I don't want to be alone. I just need to hang out with someone. Well, we wound up going 2 nights later because, had to arrange for babysitting and school stuff. And on the drive there, I'm just asking out of curiosity. She was like, hey, can you buy me a pack of smokes? Because at the time I was 18 and she wasn't. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Not only because I could get in trouble for it, I'm very opposed to smoking in general, so no. I'm sorry,
Right.
that ain't happening. Well, on our drive, she said, for some reason, I came up with like, what do you look for in a relationship? And she named off all these qualities and traits, and I just went, check, 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 check. Holy shit, that's me. And then she asked me the same question, and I went and I've listed off all my stuff, and she did the same thing. Check, 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 check. Holy shit, that's me. Neither of us thought anything of each other. Well, we got married, had a kid together. Even once we divorced, I still had half custody of her son from the previous relationship because he's my son.
Right.
You never know. It was
exactly.
It was a powerful. It was an amazing relationship when it was good. Of course, when it went bad. But like I was saying, I wasn't looking. At this point, I was like, I live in a town of 3,500 people. I know everybody within a few years age range of me that's female. None of them. It's like the ones I'm interested in aren't interested in me. The ones that are interested in me, I'm not interested in them. This is never happening. Fortune telling. And all because I told my sister, sure, I'll give you a ride. That weird twisty road led to a marriage and a kid together.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've fortune told myself out of with photography, like the whole own worst critic thing, picking apart myself, of contests, of contests where even like small contests where I'm like, there's no way I would place, like I'm not going to embarrass myself. There's no way I can win. And then I see what wins. I'm like, this is bullshit. I should have dropped something in here. It's like I get down on my photography, but like there's been there's been a few contests where I'm like, I could have blew that out the water. Like it's fortune. I think one of the biggest side effects of fortune telling is we are denying ourselves meaningful experiences. And we're putting so much on the destination, and we're forgetting that journey.
Yeah.
Right. For me personally, it's not relationships. Right. I mean, I won the lottery, Sarah, but it's like with photography. Had I submitted something and my stuff was judged, even if I hadn't won, I could have had the opportunity to speak to industry professionals about why didn't I win? What could I improve on? What should I do? And even if it's just walking away with like, that's not the aesthetic I like. It's technically perfect, but it's not what I like. And I get to walk away and go, oh, I didn't fail because I couldn't make it. I just produced something that somebody didn't feel was beautiful. That doesn't mean other people won't, and right. Which is really would be affirming of the talent, But we just go full send negative, and we're denying ourselves that. And it's like I guess the question is how do we build up the bravery, even if we're fortune telling? How do we build up the bravery to take that step into the void, knowing in our heart of hearts we're going to fall forever, but still risking it? Like that's real bravery. And how do I cultivate that? How do I build that type of courage? I don't know.
It's scary.
Grinder. He just put in chat, what's wrong with Grinder? Ducks and runs, basically.
In response to you talking about Tinder.
Yeah, dude. Somebody who was down in iOS brought a coffee grinder to work. Walked up in the middle of the aisle. I was a manager on duty. Knocks it off of his desk and goes, "Oh no, Grinder's down." I didn't know what Grinder was at the time, and I was like, "What?" And everybody around me's laughing, and I'm like the old dude, like I don't get it. Yeah, one of the people I knew there would like patted me on the back, like, "I'll explain it later, boomer." Like that's kind of like their attitude towards me. I'm like, damn old. Like I'm old, but shit, come on.
Well, it's like, there's a meme I saw the other day it hits hard. When you're over 30 and you hear a slang term you've never heard before, and it shows someone sitting in front of the computer, it's all Google, what does no cap mean? Like, see? I know you know what that means.
Yes, I do. And right now there's another thing too. It's the nerd emoji.
There's a nerd emoji now?
What's a nerd emoji?
They'll send it after your arguments to make you sound stupid, I guess. They'll just send it like you're like a nerd that knows all your stuff,
Okay,
like
so you're proud that you don't know things. Got it. That's how I'm going to look at that.
But yeah, I get that.
But
I know what that means.
It's good to have pride in some things. Ignorance, I don't necessarily think should be one of those, but
no,
that's one of those should things. I shouldn't be using that word.
Well, Austin, do you know what no cap means?
No.
The gray in my beard is.
I have
is coming
to say,
out.
I hang my head in shame. I had to look on Urban Dictionary.
Hey, cap, like I remember cap, no cap. I've seen videos on it, and I was like, I don't get it. I'm going to the next TikTok.
All right. See, why don't you drop some knowledge on us? What is no cap? And I want to make sure that my research was accurate, because I'm like, yeah.
So no cap means like not lying, basically. Like if someone's saying stop the cap, like stop your lying. Some people will...
Urban Dictionary lied to me.
So no cap in itself is a double negative.
Like no bullshit.
I'm really old now.
What it said was no cap meant like no limits, because like a cap is a limit.
Maybe it's both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the cap, no cap is like, is it the truth, or is it a lie? So where I've seen it in videos, it's like if you put Mentos in Diet Coke, it'll explode. Cap or no cap is like the videos I've seen, and I'm just like. No, give me my cat videos. I don't want to see this. I want to see some cute fuzzy thing that's not having 8 legs.
All right, so I have to ask, the original Google Pixel phone, when they released their first one, did you ever see the commercial about it? All it was about was filling the internet with even more cats. Because that's the whole point of the internet. Cats.
Cats.
It was well done.
Cat videos.
It was well done. It was back when I Can Has Cheeseburger was big.
I remember that.
Cheeseburger.
I remember that.
That was the first viral meme that started the modern meme movement.
Iconic to just memes in general and childhoods. It's just...
But back then, a meme would live for a couple of months. Now, a meme could be born and dead within the hour.
Yes.
It is crazy how fast memes change now. But one of my favorite things to do is like someone who's like a meme like connoisseur or aficionado. I love going back and finding old memes, like the rage face memes, and using the classics on them. Because like, you're giving me cancer! These are cancerous memes. I'm like, yeah, I know, that's why I'm doing it.
Back in my day, memes were quality. They meant something.
We used to walk uphill both ways in the snow to get a good meme. Barefoot.
Yeah, having, growing up in the era at the beginning of memes and having legit arguments is it meme or is it meme? And getting into like rager arguments over it.
Is it GIF or GIF?
GIF.
I always say GIF.
I've always said GIF.
GIF.
The guy that coined it always said it was GIF. The problem though is that even if you coin a phrase,
trolling everyone.
No, even if you coin a phrase, if the general population uses a different form of it, that is the definition. You don't get to decide the definition of the general public.
So the truth in that is ain't is now in the dictionary.
What is?
Hella is now in the dictionary. Ain't a word, and I ain't gonna use it again.
Yeah,
Remember
well,
that from when you were a kid?
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's been defined. It is. It doesn't matter if you don't think it is. It is what it is. You know.
You know what else is in the
That
dictionary? Homer's dope.
Seriously?
Seriously,
I'm
dope.
not surprised.
Yeah, dope was put into the Oxford English Dictionary. I want to say around 2003, 2004.
Yeah, they're getting desperate for content. Like, we have stopped evolving the English language into something intelligent. And you know what's going to come next is like
twerking is in the
UK
dictionary.
the UK raga.
I'm not surprised with that either.
Sounds are coming next.
Ah, Sarah, you just hit my shit list with that.
What?
So this is something funny.
This is one of my triggery words. You want to share it? I don't want to say it.
So Sarah and I had I had a friend that Sarah is like, maybe you want this friend. She's using you. I'm like, no, she wouldn't use me. White knight syndrome, like we talked about. And one of her things she would always say is like, well, irregardless to that it's like, stop it right now. So I have duct tape. I'll make you stop it.
It's like, you mean regardless.
Yes. And it's now irregardless. And
that's such a nonsensical
and, like,
word.
calling her on it, she'd be like, well, irregardless to, irregardless, she'd be like, irregardless isn't a word. Like, you're and even if it was a word, you're not using it properly because you're canceling out what your meaning is. Stop it.
Just like,
and she'd be like, and she would respond with, well, irregardless of what you think.
That's up there with the I could care less. That means you care. It's I couldn't care less.
Couldn't. Yes. The importance of contractions. Get it all out there. It's I even could not. You say could not. Oh my God, you're triggering me. My English isn't even that great. I'm like, golly, come on.
This is a pet peeve of mine word. Caramel. Not caramel. It is spelled caramel. I can see us grinding up. Yeah, see?
So here's the thing with me. So I'm dyslexic. I'm one of God's little jokes on me. Used to be a writer. Can't spell to save my life. Hard for me to read. I will hear a word, and then I will try to write it. If I don't know how to spell it, I'll sound it out. And that word is how I heard somebody say it forevermore. So caramel. Like the So here's a funny one. I don't know. Well, Sarah might know this. I have to think really, really, really hard to spell her son's name. And it's not difficult, but it's like, because the way you spell it isn't the way it sounds out, and it fucks me up. So caramel, was it caramel?
People call it caramel, but it's caramel.
It is caramel.
Yeah.
C-A-R-A.
I had me fucked up. I thought I was saying it wrong. Okay.
And then Sarah dropped nuclear. You mean nuclear? No, sorry, it is nuclear. Because nuclear, it is a nuclear because it's a nucleus, not nuclear.
What used to mess me up
is
how different people say the word February. Like February is hard for some people to say.
Yeah,
and
that's my birth
It
month.
used to make me giggle. It made me giggle uncontrollably. Where it's like Sarah knows somebody who, it's like little things. Like Sarah knows somebody who is Canadian, and they do not have a Canadian accent except for two words. And when those words come out of that person's mouth, I'm like, giggle, giggle. I almost feel like it's like a Black Ops agent who just lost their cover. A boot. Sorry. Sorry is one of them. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he does the boot thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry and a boot.
Yeah. I don't think he throws the A's out there either. I can't do accents. The only accent I can do is a Filipino accent. That's because when I would go visit my grandma when I was little, I'd be there for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'd come back and I'm like this little chubby white kid. Like I look like day glow white. I had blonde hair, blonde hair as a kid, and I would get stuck with the Filipino accent. Horrible. I can pick up accents if I hear them, but I can't just do them. A boot. There you go. Sorry. A boot. Sorry. A boot. That. I can't.
All righty.
Sir.
Oh, go for it.
So far off the tracks here.
Yeah, I was just going to bring us back in here. This one's always a fun one, the overgeneralization.
Yeah.
This sneaky distortion takes one instance or example and generalizes it to an overall pattern. For example, a student may receive a C on one test and conclude that she is stupid and a failure. Overgeneralization can lead to overly negative thoughts about yourself and your environment based on only one or two experiences. Yeah. I didn't do well on this, so I suck. No, you didn't do well on it because you're new to it. That's what everybody does. A few people may excel right off the bat. They're natural. But that's the exception, not the rule.
Kind of touched on this earlier a little bit. Like with art, you know, if you're really good at some things and all of a sudden something is challenging just a little bit, you make one little mistake. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I'm doing great. I fucked up. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Forget the fact that for most of my time, I was doing great. Even though I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not up to the level of like someone that has done it all the time. But why do I catastrophize it by overgeneralizing it? Well, the fun part is how they all intertwine into make a tangled little web. All to snare you in this little trap of, you suck, everybody else is better than you, and that's what a lot of these distortions will do. Such an unhealthy way to live life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was at the anxiety treatment center when I was first introduced to the concept of cognitive distortions. And it blew my mind. Because I knew cognitive dissonance, and I know of logical fallacies. But cognitive distortions and logical fallacies can also go hand in hand, too. Because, again, if your own beliefs are false, your reasoning is false.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, these were a little hard for me to wrap my head around. Like I've been reading up on like everything from white papers to listening to or watching YouTube videos on different mental health issues, the diagnosis, how they present, everything around mental health. And I'd never heard of this before. So when you sent this to me, I was like, this is fascinating, but it's a little different than everything else that I've seen. It's really hard for me to wrap my head around some of them and understand them. I'm really glad we're talking about it.
Right. And I mean, if you start getting more examples of the ones that you don't really understand, that helps. Because it's like, oh, I did that. This time I did that. And all of a sudden it makes sense. You know, it's that whole thing of taking a concept and trying to make it stick.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first read through the list of the cognitive distortions, I just had just the words. Like, mental filter. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Disqualifying the positive. I have an idea just off the name, but I don't know what it truly means.
Right.
So yeah, it was helpful. And then again, this therapist I have now brought up the fundamental attribution error, and turns out there's this whole thing called fundamental attribution theory. It's a whole study just on that error. And it's amazing.
Wow.
I fell down a rabbit hole that night.
Yeah, you were like you sent this to me, and I was just like, all right, what's the next thing I'm putting on YouTube? Because I'm being productive and working.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I listen to this stuff while I work, and I'm like,
But these are only 22 examples of the more common ones, like logical fallacies. Like a lot of people know what a red herring is. A lot of people know what ad hominem is. But do you know what appeal to the gallery is? Do you know what addressing the stump is? Do you know, like there's so many. What about like ad hoc ergo proctor hoc?
It's appealing to the gallery one, being a chameleon.
Not necessarily being a chameleon, but more along the lines. More along the lines, like the Chinese, they tend to practice Buddhism. 1.3 billion Chinese people can't be wrong. That's appealing to the gallery.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's a false argument. Now, could it be right that there is something behind it? Well, yeah. But you just completely obscured it by doing it's almost like a bandwagon fallacy. And it's like, yes, it is possible that everyone on that bandwagon is wrong and you're about to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Just because you all believe that you're right together doesn't mean that you are.
People forget that people are lemmings. Like, have you seen the experiment where it was in New York City where somebody just stood on a street corner, and they stood there for about 15 minutes before they got a reaction from anybody, and they were just looking up, and they'd occasionally point at something at random at one of the skyscrapers, and within a half hour, the entire crosswalk was full. There were people on that corner into the crosswalk where everybody is around just looking up, and everybody just starts talking about what they think they see, but the person's just staring. He's not, there's nothing there, And it's one person we'll start seeing people doing something and they follow right along. Good old lemmings.
Yep.
So I'll jump off the cliff.
So I actually said it wrong. It's post hoc ergo propter hoc. So this one's a common fallacy. This is a common one. And it could easily also be a cognitive distortion. Because of something that's happened in the past, it's what's causing what's happening today. A good example is, because I was in the Army and I got injected with 60,000 vaccines, that's why I have cancer today. No. That's not how it works. Could there be a contributing factor to it? Yeah, there could be. But it's not because of. And I think that everybody at some point in their time is guilty of that, because this has happened in the past. This is the cause of what's happening now. Like, my Rottweiler ate rat poison when she was 2 years old. We were able to flush her system, and we were able to, it was activated charcoal and make her puke using sodium pentothal, which is the same thing they used to put dogs down, just a lower dose to make them puke. And they were blaming the rat poison for the fact that she died of cancer. Could it be a contributing factor? Well, yeah. But we can't say that was the cause, because we don't know. But that right there is an example of, and from my personal life, an example of post hoc ergo propter hoc, which happens to be one of my favorite fallacies. That and
I'll never remember how to say that. Not even gonna lie, like that I can't.
Me neither.
Like as soon as you're done saying it, I'm like something about a hawk. That's all I got out of it. Yeah. And it sounds like it'd be a good one to know. Do they have like a shortened name for it somewhere?
I wish.
Can I get an acronym? Say it one more time for the people like me. Post hoc.
Ergo. Propter.
Ergo. Propter hoc. Post hoc. Ergo.
It literally translates to
hoc.
because of past. That means that right now, basically.
So we could just say because of the past, because of right now fallacy. I'm not feeling very I'm not wording right now.
Right.
It's all right.
Another
It
one.
happens.
Okay, so this one.
Who copter hawk.
So here's one that you might
Favor?
like: Russell's teapot fallacy. Are you familiar?
No.
Oh, this one's so good. So Russell's teapot is an analogy formulated by the philosopher Bertrand Russell to illustrate the philosophical burden of proof lies upon the person making empirically unfalsifiable claims, rather than shifting the burden of disproof to others. Meaning, what he said is, somewhere between Earth and Mars, there is a teapot that is orbiting the sun. Prove me wrong. The thing is that if you're making the claim, you need to bring the proof, not the other way around.
Right.
Now, it's specifically an argument about God, him being an atheist, saying, it's not my job to disprove God, it's your job to prove God. Which that makes sense. But you can still use Russell's teapot in other, capacities. And again, that's another one where if you don't, and this is one thing I think that does help with mental health too, is knowing logical fallacies so you can shield yourself from them. So they don't have the desired effect on you, and you have a logical ability to deal with it. Because people will use logical fallacies to shame the fuck out of people. They'll use it, it's a form of gaslighting. I mean, gaslighting is horrible.
I was just going to say I couldn't get to my mute button quick enough. Yeah, it's like nitro for gaslighting.
It is. Like, when they, like, how many times have you heard where someone, like, I mean, the claim, vaccines cause autism. Prove that they don't. No. Prove that they do.
Yeah, where's your empirical data on that, buddy?
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
Now, I'm not trying to cause an argument about pro-vax and, anti-vax.
No.
You know what? It's your choice. I'm not going to shame you or attack you or anything, no matter which side of the line that you fall on. I'm not going to judge that. That's not my place. I know where I stand.
It's one of the beautiful things about this country is like, that freedom of choice. For a lot of things, but that whole oh damn, I caught the e-bug. It was there and then it was gone.
Yep.
Never mind. It'll come back to me.
I was laughing because Favor said quid pro copter hawk. To make fun of things.
That's what I was laughing at earlier.
Yeah. And yes, Kat, there's actually because the Cat was saying cancer is hereditary in lab rats. There is a specific line of rat that is extraordinarily susceptible to tumor growth and cancer. That's why they are bred, is because that's what they do. And there is the humanitarian argument as to when is the right time to end the life of the rat before the tumors become too unbearable and suffering. And they will use them for cancer research, which is great. If they can slow the tumor growth in these rats that are susceptible to it or stop it and they're susceptible to it, that's good to know. Now, they're mammalian, but that's where the similarities between human and rats really end. But it is at least something you can work off of. Unfortunately, there are some bad actors out there that will use those rats to try to say, look what happened to this rat, while letting the tumors grow to a level where no researcher with any code of ethics or morals would ever let a rat get to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Hashtag fuck cancer.
Oh, fuck cancer, seriously.
Hashtag fuck cancer.
I'm not even going to add the hashtag, just fuck cancer.
Yeah. I'm trying to be like the cool kids. That's what they do, right? The heartbeats for the tweet. Hashtag this and that.
So
I'm just trying to sound as old as I can right now. Is it working?
So now, if you really want to talk, what I was referencing specifically, there was a study that was done by Giles Eric Seralini. You should check out his study. Let's just say that he's not allowed to publish papers anymore because of what he did with with these rats. And it's not because it had to do anything with what he was studying per se, even though it was like the terrible methodology, very small sample size, blah, blah, blah. He really got in trouble because he allowed these rats to get to the point where they were just living a tortured existence. All for photos.
Wow.
All to publish a conclusion he already came up with before he started the study. Kat, yep, absolutely fuck cancer. Hey, she said the F word again. I'm not going to hold this one because that is the appropriate thing to say to cancer.
Yeah.
And Favor said something I love as well, which is I love my pet rats. I love rats. Rats are great pets.
Yes, they really are.
I mean, you have to have them in at least a pair because, yeah, they get lonely. But they still, unlike some animals that when you give them a partner, they ignore the human. No, they still love their humans. Rats love their people. I had a biology class in my sophomore year where every day I would go to the rat cage, grab the rats out of the cage, and let them crawl around in my parka while I was wearing it while I was in class.
Aww.
I've never had anything against rats. They've never been my favorite. I had chinchillas when I was younger, and they'd like climb up on my shoulders and fight over my head with each other, trying to get on top of my head.
And you can actually train chinchillas to do tricks. They're trainable.
I think they were training me to give them treats.
Yeah, and if I know chinchillas, they probably love their raisins.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Raisins are interesting. Humans can eat grapes and raisins, no problem. You feed them to most pets, they die. Chinchillas, they could sustain themselves off of them.
Yeah.
Kind of freaky.
A whole lot. Let's see. Favor said yes. My females, Pepper and Posy, used to carry them around in my pockets of my hoodie. Had some males too. Small, so smart and affectionate. Like their whole jumping abilities, like astound me. Like the videos that I'll see, like on TikTok or Instagram, where somebody will be holding out their hand,
fucking jump.
Oh yeah, I think it hops for sure.
And then Kat was just saying, chinchillas are adorable, but pretty fragile, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's something that I was told when I got my chinchillas. I got them from a friend who had like 14 chinchillas. She's my old boss, like in San Francisco. Yeah, she had her living room was half full of cages, and she mixed them up. She had them all separated by sex, and they're like rabbits. They'll breed pretty quick. So
one mistake and you wind up with dozens.
She told me, yeah, it's literally what happened.
Well, I mean, I think that's all rodents.
She told me that. She told me a lava bath. What they take. The way they bathe themselves is in like lava dust. You put a fishbowl in their cage, and they'll go in and they'll like a little Tasmanian devil spin around, and it's so cute. She's like, if you get them wet, they will die. I'm like, are they like Murkwai? Is that what they're called? Like the gremlins? Like, what's going on here? And she's like, yeah, Mogwai. Yeah. She's like, I'm not kidding. Like, if you get it wet, it will die. It can't dry out. It'll freeze and it'll die. And I was like, that's kind of dark. Okay, let's not do that.
Okay,
so
how
will even mold before it dries?
How in the hell did they survive without human intervention?
Who knows? They beat up my cat once. I had a cat in the house, Tessa, and
a cat named Tuna. That's amazing.
Well, that was my first. Yeah, that was one of my first cats. Its name was Tuna. But yeah, they jumped. They got the door open somehow, and were in the cage. I came out of my room because they were in the living room, and they had my cat in a corner, and it was hissing. It was hiding in a corner, hissing back way up into a corner. It was like swatting at them, like get the hell away from me. And they were like going after it. I was like, you vicious little bastards! Like you always fight with each other, but how are these two like softball-sized fluff balls attacking a cat? Like this is breaking every stereotype right now.
So,
Cat says by living somewhere with no rain. Okay, that's fair. Like California.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Oh yeah, and Favor's really excited because getting a hedgehog next. Finally live where they're legal. I don't know why hedgehogs are illegal in California. I don't. There's so many things in California that are illegal that just don't make a lot of sense. Like, they're like, ferrets are illegal. It's like, do you know how many people I have known in California that have owned ferrets?
So I get that. I understand why ferrets, because ferrets are vicious hunters. And so they get out into the wild, they could really mess up the natural ecosystem. I don't know what a hedgehog is going to mess up, but it's like somebody's day if you step on it barefoot. Like,
but you know what? You just killed the hedgehog too. Its days got ruined too.
Yeah.
Hedgehogs are adorable.
So cute.
I love hedgehogs. I had a teacher that used to have hedgehogs in our classroom in California, where they're illegal.
Yep. Yeah.
And also you're not allowed to have any California native species in captive, which was really weird because that same classroom we also had a largemouth bass in a fish tank.
I've never heard of.
You're also not allowed to have.
Let's see.
Oh, I said I was gonna say you're also not allowed to have axolotls. They're illegal here.
I love axolotls.
So do I. But apparently they're illegal here. I looked it up.
Yeah, you can have a...
I'm gonna pretend this is for our listeners. What's an axolotl? So everybody knows.
I'm getting the link for pictures now.
So an axolotl is basically like a type of salamander, except it stays in its juvenile phase for the rest of its life. It never morphs.
Yeah, so it lives underwater like its whole life.
Yeah, and it has little gills, and it furls it around to get oxygen in them. And they're really derpy. They don't really do much, but they're adorable.
It's like the Toys R Us kid of salamanders. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it had like the...
And it turns out...
It looks like the Triceratops kind of thing that comes off the back of the head.
Yeah, the frilly head.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, here's the thing. It turns out a paper was just published 2 days ago that they're cannibals and can regrow missing limbs. So they will actually cannibalize on each other, but they regrow. So, like...
Never-ending food supply?
Well, they still have to have they have to have another food supply because you can't create energy. Cannot be created.
No. It's like kiting checks, right? Yeah, you write a check from one bank, put it in another bank, take a check from that bank, put in another bank. You keep going in a circle, right? So you have like a whole family of 20 of them, and they're just munching on each other.
No, does it work not that way? Like that. The regeneration, like, it can heal it, but, like, losing a limb, it does really affect them, like, their lifespan.
Well, that's a lot of energy to put into regrowing a limb.
Yeah, exactly. And bigger axolotls will definitely cannibalize smaller axolotls, so you shouldn't put them in the same place together. And also, they're doing really well, like, pet-wise, but in the wild where they live, they're critically endangered.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. They're critically endangered. They're almost... That was EW, which is nearly extinct. Like, extinct in the wild.
Functionally extinct, basically.
Like a lot of, like, some rhinoceroses is.
Yeah.
Although now the white rhino is actually extinct.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Unfortunately.
Fun fact.
Chubby unicorn, as I like to call him.
So, fun fact about the white rhino, there's a game, it's Conan Exiles. Really fun game. If you like survival style, open world kind of games, this is a great game. They have a reward for killing a white rhino, but after they went extinct, you can no longer get that achievement because they removed them from the game.
Wow.
They did it in honor of the fact that they're no longer in the wild. But they left the achievement there, so yeah. Completionists, get an old version, just get it off the disc, get it then, and then update. Otherwise, you're fucked. And Kat was saying that she...
So do other players judge the people who've killed the white rhinos now that they're extinct in-game?
I don't know.
wonder
I would
how
hope
far
not.
that goes. I wonder how far that goes. You know, there's somebody out there. There's somebody out there. You
Probably.
killed a digital recreation of an animal that went extinct in the game. So therefore, you are, I don't know.
A
I'm just
poacher.
running with stuff now. Sarah wants to get a zebra. She's like, apparently you can keep zebras here, though, and can we get a zebra? So I used to show horses back in the day.
They're black and white striped murder horses.
They're closer to a
You don't
donkey
want
than a
them.
horse.
Yeah, you don't want them.
They look like
No.
and yeah, I'm pretty sure they're closer. Well, looking at them, they look more like donkeys than horses.
Yeah.
I used to show horses, but donkeys are like the horse. The main horse that I showed was it was a paint, and it was bad. But a donkey, I've been hit-butted by a donkey.
Donkeys are not nice.
That I was feeding.
No.
So, what were you going to say? You had your hand raised, too.
Sorry.
I was going to tell Oz, you're actually really correct. Zebras and donkeys are more closely related than horses are to like zebras and donkeys. And they are vicious as fuck. Apparently, like they're one of the leading causes for zookeepers' injuries because they're just mean asses.
They are mean.
They will I saw a video of one just stomping out a baby of a different species and then just heading off, run away.
It was a baby cheetah.
No, it wasn't a baby cheetah.
I saw one where
it
murked a baby cheetah. I saw one of those.
I can understand that, but this one was a herbivore baby. It was like, it stomped it out.
Yeah.
And left the mom just standing
zebras
there.
are over here set tripping.
Yeah, I still love that how Casual Geographic, used to be Hood Nature, calls them. What was it? Damn it, I just had the term and it just went boop, boop, bye bye. They're like they have Special Forces energy. Black Force energy. They are the striped murder donkey.
Striped murder donkey.
They will
got
straight
their
up
own prison outfit.
Yep, and they will straight up remove you from the census and not bat an eye about it.
And they'll also remove babies from other males too. They'll drown them.
Yeah.
They'll hold them underwater and drown them, and the mother can only do so much to try to get them away. And if they're pregnant, they'll make them miscarry or reabsorb the baby.
Yeah, if it's like a new male, it's like the new alpha, they will kick the gut of any female that's pregnant to try to get a miscarriage or a death or something, anything. Just because I'm in charge, only my babies.
Yes.
So the black and white assholes of land and sea, zebras and orcas, I guess.
Oh yeah, orcas.
Yes.
It's a good thing that
orcas are assholes.
Yeah, it's a good thing that orcas actually like us.
Yeah.
If they didn't like us, we wouldn't be in the ocean. Period.
No. Orcas can be... Actually, they're really, really smart creatures, you know?
They're probably the smartest creature in the ocean, right there with dolphins. Those
they all have their own language.
An orca is technically in the dolphin family.
A dolphin, it's just a very large one.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
Apparently, they're called killer. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. ADD's kick in super hard. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
I was saying, people thought they were called killer whales, not because they're killing machines that are whales. It's because they were killing whales themselves. Like they would hunt them down and kill them.
They will feed off of blue whales, but they'll feed off of the blue whale in such a way to not kill the blue whale, so that way they can come back and find it later and feed off of it again.
One pod
they are
learned
so damn smart.
Yes. One pod used their beach to the advantage, so they would purposely beach themselves, but because of the stones on the beach, they would roll back into the water and they wouldn't die. So they're able to ambush seals on the shore and roll back into the water.
They're one of the very few marine creatures that can beach themselves and get away with it. It's incredible.
Yeah, I actually learned that orcas are
Beautiful
dolphins from
animals.
Sarah. She just put it. She just put in chat that they're dolphins, and
Yeah.
dolphins are assholes.
Also, they can reach
Cat says big
menopause.
cats are like that too.
They can reach menopause?
Yeah. Yeah, the grandmas. So it's a very it's matriarchal, and the grandmas will go through a menopause, so that way, uh, they'll have more time helping raising their babies' children.
Yeah, their
So
grandchildren,
they
basically.
benefit. Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, no,
So
it's crazy how evolved they are, and they never hunt, and they change their hunting patterns based on their prey and the prey's
yeah,
behavior. Unbelievably smart, and they are assholes. They will literally tail slap a seal out of the water just to watch it fly.
and then it'll hit the water so hard that
I I I feel so
you
bad,
don't
but
want
I
to
think
know.
that's hilarious. Like I just like I'll to all you a big ass seal.
Yeah, and they do it. They'll just swim along and just boom for no like an octopus too. I swear, the smarter a creature is, the more likely it is to be a dick to things around it.
Yes.
Octopus have been known to punch fish swimming by just to punch them for no other reason. They just punch them,
Yes.
not for any kind of warning, not for any reason. Just you're there. Okay.
Two for flinching.
Yeah. And the sad thing about like octopi, they are literally the smartest creature in the ocean, and they die
And yet
very young.
Yes, they die the fastest, basically. Every single octopus you see is a virgin.
Yeah, they die after mating. The male will rip
Yeah.
off his penis, throw it at a female, and then wander off and die. The female will pick
Yeah,
up the penis, stick it in, get impregnated, lay eggs, give birth. I'm not sure which one it is. As soon as they're done, then they just kind of wander off and die. Their brains just kind of go, Ugh. They live a year. A year.
The males will kind of just go off and
Wow.
disintegrate, or they'll get eaten
Yeah.
because they're just kind of not there. And then the females, they'll basically starve to death protecting the eggs.
The one exception on that is the Pacific giant octopus can live for years. But that one is
That's
also
interesting.
a nightmare in its own right. There was an aquarium of the Pacific. It's down in L.A.
It escaped.
It didn't escape. They put the giant Pacific octopus into the shark tank because sharks don't eat octopus, and they figured the octopus doesn't eat sharks. Well, then they started finding shark corpses with the guts ripped out. And they're like, okay, which shark is doing this? Eventually got to the point where they set up a camera, and what was happening is that the octopus would go to a little false reef area that they have, camouflage looked just like the reef. When a shark was swimming by, it would grab the shark, hold it there until it drowned, because sharks have to keep moving, and then eat the stomach. Rip up the contents of the stomach, eat the inside, the most nutrient-packed part, and then leave the rest of the shark to die. That's it. So they had to pull it out of that. They had to put it in its own tank, going, yeah, we can't do that again.
There was this. Sarah might have told me about this. There's an octopus. Like they had a problem at an aquarium where the fish kept disappearing, and they found on camera the octopus was climbing out of its tank, out of the water, across dry ground, up into the other tank, ate the fish, and then would retreat back into its tank before the aquarium opened the next day.
Wow.
It's like nobody saw me do it. It wasn't
Incredibly
me.
smart.
All right, so Kat was talking about otters are the same way. They're literally the worst critter. And then Sarah said,
Yes.
I had heard otters could be arseholes, but haven't seen much. I've seen them teasing other animals on nature shows. Now, here's the thing. Sea otters, they will hold each other's hands while they sleep so they don't drift apart because they live a monogamous life. But they will also rape baby seals to death.
Yeah. Penguins are also pretty terrible, too.
Did you say they'll rape baby seals to death?
Yes.
Yes. They'll hold them under the water until they drown, and they'll keep going at it even after it's dead.
Yep.
I've never looked at those cute little bastards.
And then there's the South American river otters, the ones that are they're like the Mack. Yeah, they're like the Mack truck of otters. There's a reason no creature in the Amazon goes near these otters. Not even a jaguar will fuck with these otters because those otters will murk them. And when they're doing it, it sounds like they're laughing their asses off.
Yeah,
Okay, people are getting mad at me for ruining their their images of otters.
That just made me think of the whole. What was the Devo thing about the bike? The meme you said earlier.
Which one?
The Devo bike meme. The Devo bike.
Oh
meme.
yeah.
That's what those otters remind me of.
Yeah,
now.
act like it's your bike, even if it's not.
Yeah, it's those otters.
Yeah. All right, so we are completely off topic. Yeah, I think this would be a good wrapping up point. You guys?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Okay, so Oscar, you have got to work on your internet connection.
Otters.
Yeah.
We have to work on your
Isn't
internet.
that bad?
Every once in
Yes.
a while. It's like, it's good, and then
It
Garbo.
completely cuts out.
Yeah. And it's not a short period of time either. All right, so.
Yeah, you guys never cut out on me.
Oh, that's
You guys
weird.
haven't cut out on me
That's
once.
good.
Asynchronous internet. Your upload speed's always slower than your download speed.
Yeah. Well, I've been off Wi-Fi this whole time on my iPad. I've been on cellular the whole time.
That could be part
It
of
could
it,
be
too.
a thing.
No.
Oops.
All right, so for
Yeah.
everybody, we
My
will
bad.
be taking 3 weeks
That's
off.
all right.
We'll be back
happens.
after that. There are some changes that may be coming here. Working on a few things. Jay, if it's not obvious at this point, may not be coming back. They just got back from a camping trip that they already pre-planned. And again, Jay's business is taking off. Can't hate on that. Got nothing but love for Jay.
Winning.
Yep, winning. But yeah, so 3 weeks. All right, guys, and we'll be on season 11. God, that's so hard to believe that we've gotten that far. And C's been around for most of
100
it.
episodes. That is an
Really?
achievement.
Yeah, we're going to 11th season. This is our 100th episode. You know what? Really fast. Let's take a quick little. Where are we as far as downloads? As of right now,
Are we getting some stats?
I'm
Yep.
pulling up some stats. If there's any bouncing around and audio problems now, it's probably me because some browsers just take forever to load. You know what? Force quit. I'll just use this one. Come on. There we go. Oh, good. I'm already signed in here. Manage podcasts. All right. I'm in the area now.
Whatever screen you just looked at, it was like the Pulp Fiction briefcase just opened up. Like your face just got so bright. Just remind me. I want to know what Quentin Tarantino put in that case.
Right. All right. So we are at. Oh, I thought we were over 5,000. We're at 4,600 downloads, 685 live plays. Last week's episode actually did really well overall for the month. We had 15 downloads, 11 live plays. Not among our greatest that we've had. We've had some go way higher, but this is July and August. This is when everybody's on vacation and no one's listening to podcasts. So I think that we're doing all right.
But you know what that means?
Yes.
That means all of your listeners have 3 weeks to start sharing Am I Mental with your friends.
Yes.
Get friends together. This is a good reason to break some bread, listen to some interesting content, share it on your Facebook, on your social media, get the word out, help us, help people, and create better days. You can be part of this.
Absolutely.
You just got to share if you want to support.
And if you want to
Am
be
I
able
Mental?
to, and if you really want to share, like if you want to join us, like say on our Discord, Go to amimental.net. Up in the top right corner, you'll see a few icons, including Discord. Guess what? That's an invite. Come to our server. Join us. We'd love to have you there. Also, whenever we go live, I always drop an announcement in the announcement, and it's automatically set to ping everybody that's in the Discord. So if you don't want to set up your own alarm, that's probably the easiest way for me to let you know, hey, we're going live. And really quick, this is cool. Our country count has changed around a bit. In the last 30 days, we've had listeners in the United States, India, Saudi Arabia, Canada, United Kingdom, Kenya, Australia, Germany, Denmark, Hungary, Netherlands, and Vietnam.
Interesting.
Right?
Has quite changed. Oh.
And Oz just
I think
disappeared.
Yeah, I think he might have accidentally, crashed, maybe,
right?
Internet-wise.
And pulling away the number one platform for our podcast, Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast, okay.
Hey, Oz is back.
Welcome back, Oz.
Thank you.
So in the last 30 days, we've been listened to on Apple Podcast, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, JioSaavn, Overcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Podcast Addict, VLC, amimental.net. There are people listening right off of our homepage, and Alexa Media Player.
Nice.
Woo.
All right, so for the next 3 weeks...
Big ups on technology.
I love technology. And I can tell you right now, the number one listened to device is iPhone.
Oh.
By 86% people listen on iPhones to our podcast. Wow, Oz is just bouncing all over the place right now.
Yeah.
I just went on Wi-Fi. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
So Kat was just saying, missed the first season, not sure about second. Don't remember if I joined second or third. Sarah, I didn't know there was a Discord. Yeah, we have a Discord. We have a YouTube channel. We are published all over the place. Right now, we don't have enough followers on the YouTube channel to be able to have a customized URL. So, it is what it is. But yeah, in the next 3 weeks, we'll be back. I think I will just go ahead and say that the big focus, I think, is going to be more topic, less chatter. It's been brought up multiple times by multiple people, so yeah, that's going to be our focus. Let's get back more towards the roots of the...
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm E.
I'm C.
I'm Oz.
And we'll catch you guys next time.